Welcome back. Another week of Tiny's Universe. This is Tiny Universe. I'm having a bunch of errors today. So, better late than never. We're coming. We're here. I talked to a couple people in the Discord and told them that we would be here with some wonderful news. So, I don't know what we've got in store for you, but we're here. Evan, wonderful to have you on again, as always.
Oh, wonderful to be here. Thank you so much, sir. Really happy to have this time every week. It's fun. So yeah, I think, this will probably be a little shorter this evening, and we can kind of dive right into it. So, as always, if anybody is tuning in for the first time, my name is Evan Matthews, Tiny Universe, and this is a weekly thing that we do as a stream to just share any updates or things that are going across the Macroverse ecosystem. As always, we've got stuff coming out on Drip House, which we're very excited about. We've got some new stuff coming out on Drip House, which we're very excited about. Really awesome DMC collab today. I saw that Tiny got a legendary in that drop, so congratulations.
Oh, I'm very happy about that one.
Yeah, so super cool. I mean, I am so thrilled with every collection that we've put out, on Drip House, both on the DMC channel and on the Macroverse channel. And then, as many people know, we've got a Vogu channel, which is coming up, and the things that Jason and I, Jason, the artist and co-founder of Vogu, have been planning are pretty freaking awesome. He's working on some stuff which really not only expands the universe of the Vogu and the lore, but also creates a whole new dynamic to the collection and ways that we're going to be able to build on that. And then
do you guys is there, because that was what, episode 0, right?
Episode 0 is the comic that we put out.
Is there episode 1?
Episode 1 is being worked on. So Jason and I are working on 3 things, which I don't want to spoil the surprise of the actual release of. But we're working on 3 components to what we're kind of calling the evolution or the expansion of the Vogu universe. At least initially, that's all going to happen on the Drip channel. There will be some ways that we tie it back into the original collection, which is always important to me to figure out ways to do that. But we're working on new characters, which are related and expansive as far as the story and the universe, and actually have a direct tie-in to what happens in episode 1. And then we're working on something which I'll call... it's new to anything that I've seen anyone do on Drip, and it's going to be a digital thing with a physical component that is also going to be a way for other artists, especially, to come and collaborate in the world of the Vogu, and I'm very excited about it. We also worked on it with another community member within the Vogu, which I'm always excited to be able to do as well. So
I'm assuming you can't name that person at this moment.
No, let's save the surprise. It's going to be something really fun for us all to talk about and celebrate together. And I'll just say there will be a way to bring Vogu. There'll be a new way to bring Vogu into your life through this.
Really, and I mean, like, where I was going, I guess, like, episode 0 was greatly tied to what was happening in our lives at that moment, and especially their lives at that moment. Yeah. So is episode 1 like taking off from there, or is it?
Yeah. So episode 1 is a direct continuation. Like, the first story arc is a direct continuation. What I will say is, like, we introduced a lot of what we're going to focus on in the first season of the series is the fact that we've now introduced that there are other types of characters in the Vogu universe. So, up until that moment, we had really only seen, robotic characters.
You know what would be sick? Vogu and Aerosol.
Well, I'm not saying that is specifically happening, but one of the things that I think we're going to have the ability to do, which is a little bit unique and I think a lot of fun, is on Drip House specifically right now, like, we've got a little collection of channels that are either under the Macroverse umbrella or adjacent to Macroverse.
Yeah.
So I was going to mention like Jason Brubaker is also getting his own channel up and running. And he and I talked a little bit today about, what he's planning on launching. And I think the ability to do some synergy between those is going to be really interesting. And so I will say, like, if you happen to have gotten a Vogu character on the first drop on the Macroverse channel, that will have you'll get something for that. I'll just say it plainly, like you'll get something for that. And if you're a current Vogu holder, like you'll have the opportunity to get something for that. So there's there again, just looking at ways to kind of connect these different dots, but very excited about what's going on Drip. So that's just a weekly, excited about that every week. So every time we have this show, we could spend the entire time talking about
Drip House.
What has come out of Drip House.
So I was back on again before, I was going and playing on leaderboards. Yeah. And listen, you're just being rude every week. I'm right behind you, but by a whole different ballpark. And then I was listening to the Legacy, the DMC.
Yeah, it's awesome, that track. Yeah.
I just I want
Hachi Mugen.
Hachi Mugen. Yeah. Mugen. It's unreal. I could play it on repeat. I need more of it. That's another thing. I'm like, man, we need more music.
I'm ashamed that I didn't catch this until today. But one of the things that DMC says in his intro is he's like, this is DMC, the devastating mic controller. What are the initials for devastating mic controller?
DMC.
I was like, that's so dope. I didn't catch that until today. That is why he is a hip hop legend, and I am making comics. But
no, it's just it's mind blowing, and I don't think people realize really that they're even sitting on that stuff.
Yeah, it's super cool. Just the fact that is his first vocal on chain is pretty freaking awesome. And the little manga,
the beat is pretty nice. Too.
Oh, it's great. I love everything they're making on that channel.
Yeah.
Hachi Mugen channel is great, and it's this cool combination of music and manga. So some people may not realize there are a whole episodic, manga rolling out there too, including the DMC episode, which has him as their sensei. Quite cool. So today's DMC drop, as you got the legendary, these incredibly awesome, cute cat versions of DMC by I really apologize for mispronouncing this if I do, but it's Naniko is the way I say it in my head, which might be completely wrong. But she does this whole series of these kind of animated cat characters. And so I thought, how fun to see her interpretation of DMC in the feline world.
They're mind blowing. They're really
awesome.
Cool.
They really are cool, man. It's this is where it's part of the long-term goal with this whole DMC project is animation. And so it's really cool to see these different interpretations.
Yeah.
Kind of visualize how that can all fit together in this universe that we're building. So it is very, very cool. So, awesome stuff on Drip House as always. We've got something very special coming on the Macroverse channel this Sunday, which is something we've been working up towards for a little while. So
get on the leaderboard.
I am going to be very excited to roll this out. It's going to be a taste of something that I think we're relatively uniquely capable of doing, and something we love doing. And so you'll kind of see how we are able to tie some elements together in this drop. And so very excited about it. So good stuff coming there. And then we're a couple weeks away from launching stuff on Vogu, so just keep your eyes peeled there. And then, as I mentioned, Jason Brubaker is working up to his first drop. So we're just gonna keep trying to bring more awesome creators onto Drip House with us, and so we can all play together. And then outside of that, most of what I'm working on since last week is the stuff that I can't talk about yet. But
which when you said you had good news today, I was like,
Good news that I can't share, but just yet. But I will say, like, we're very deep into what some people may not think of as the fun part of making stuff, which is, we're kind of finalizing some contracts and figuring out kind of exactly how we're doing some things with partners. And so we're kind of setting the table for some very exciting things that are coming at the end of this year, and then is going to be a major focus for next year, which I think people are going to be very excited about. So that is where most of my time has been over the past couple of weeks. We've got a couple of presentations coming up over the next couple of weeks that are also tied into all of this. So just a lot of behind the scenes, building decks, reviewing contracts, negotiating a few things, and putting the right people in place for some of this expansion. So again, I think going to be very cool. And I just want to say and reassure anyone that's kind of currently engaged in any part of our ecosystem, like, we're designing all of this with ways to kind of bring everything that we have done along into kind of the next iteration of what we're building, along with some really exciting new things that we've talked about at times but haven't put out yet, as well as some brand new things that no one's going to see coming. So I'm excited about all of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't, like I said, I don't know the timeline, I feel like the year's blowing by, but I feel like there's so much good news coming in the next so many weeks. Like, I just I'm ecstatic for, like, this next month or two.
Yeah.
At least in my life anyway. But yeah. I know it's I can just feel it, like, I can feel the energy. It's building. So
yep. It's definitely building. Some of this stuff is stuff we've been working on for 6 or 8 months. So it's nice to kind of see those dominoes kind of click into place, and it's awfully nice when a plan comes together. So we're very close. We're very, very close.
All right. Well, no super alpha tonight, but
no super alpha in that regard.
I do want to throw out there, I don't know if Matt's watching, but we did have another maker's room, and I have so much fun on that. I've definitely got some more writing to do, but he said he hadn't heard the recording yet, and he said, what did he miss? And I want to say again, congrats to him, because he's come so far on that story. And I want to encourage anyone who's not been in there, please come in, listen to the recordings. We're kind of deep into it now, but you can still learn so much. Come in and get ready to write. But no, definitely want to give a shout out to Matt. I'm super pumped about his story, and I want to see where the next one goes, because I feel like with a badass ending, it's going to be next level for him.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, so we do weekly Makers Room sessions in our Discord, which is really, it's our version of kind of a writer's room, but we don't want to say that you need to think of yourself as a writer to be able to come and participate. So it's the chance to kind of, we do tend to focus on our own, characters and story worlds, but it's not meant to be exclusive to that. So, you're certainly welcome to come and play from anywhere, but especially if you have any of the characters that live in the Vogu or in Dead Town or in the Koala Intelligence Agency or in the Galactic Secret Agency, a couple of agencies, and Bushido's, like, if you've got any of the NFT characters that live in the worlds that are under the Macroverse umbrella, we are kind of an open playground to come and figure out who those characters are, what are their stories inside of these different universes. And then a certain number of those will get produced as finished content, which will then get distributed through our different platforms. And I think excited, tying it back into the beginning of the conversation, that now includes the ability to put that out through our Drip House channels, which means it goes out in front of several 100,000 people, which is quite awesome.
Man, how freaking cool.
Yeah.
Even if they don't secure it, like, maybe they get it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean,
No, it's very cool. I will say one little piece of alpha I will get. So just something to keep an eye on if you're subscribed on the Drip channels, and if you've been collecting our comics. very cool that Vibu, who's the CEO at Drip House, did a little preview of like what do Macroverse comics look like that are drip editions on the new Drip House mobile app, which is coming out. They look amazing when you look at them on your browser, because these are the kind of widescreen editions that we're putting out.
Yeah.
We of course do make mobile optimized versions of all of these things, and so we're kind of working up to doing a release where basically anyone that's collected the widescreen editions, we're just going to also give you the mobile versions, and so you can choose the right format for what device that you're on. So that'll be a nice little surprise, drop to everybody that has currently collected those editions. And if you collect, more comics that we put out, like that's not going to be a separate drop. It's just going to be a, hey, good job, and now you have the chance to see it optimized for whatever device you're looking at it on.
Yeah.
So that,
which I love. That's like the whole reason, I guess. It's so bad, but I mean, I've got the app, I've got the Epics, I've got iPad, I've got Android.
I know, man. You're in. I love it. We need just a few hundred more thousand tinies.
Every format on every piece of like electronic equipment that I have, or I don't know.
Well, we have to add a couple more to those. So we need print versions, which we'll need to add to your
which will
will come. And then there's another thing that will
what you said. I mean, you've mentioned before vinyls.
Yeah, so vinyl is coming. We're figuring out exactly how to do that, but we talked about mixed print several months ago. Like that is still happening. So we're putting those pieces together. Part of that will be comics. Part of that will be vinyl. Actually, I can't say who, but some of the people that we're talking about on the vinyl record side are also like mind blowing, like major artists and albums that would certainly perk up some ears. So we'll get there one step at a time, but it's all exciting stuff. I think part of our goal in the beginning was to be able to close the loop of digital to physical, to just kind of the intersection of everything collectible, and we're getting one step closer to that every day.
That's
good.
So I'm waiting for video games.
Well, I have to talk to my co-founder about that, but
at least mobile. It doesn't have to be a full-on.
Would you? All right. This is not alpha. This is just a random question. Would you accept, in the meantime, a collectible card game?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Just
I love card games. So
sample size,
and especially like, gosh, I mean, you get into the Discord and you start talking to people in there about card games, and I'm like, I'm not even really like a fan compared to them, but I love. I would absolutely I would go for that anyway. I was going to interrupt you because I mean, like, one of my favorite drips so far are the character cards. I mean, like, I just love cards in general. I mean, I'm a collector, so it doesn't take much, but the character cards are ridiculous, and I could just see those being turned into a game already. So yes, absolutely. I would, especially like that. That could even be physical too. I'd buy a deck for sure.
It absolutely could be physical as well.
And if you need any dice, ask Valor. She's like the die master.
I do have a little. It's like a miniature duffel bag that I used to take from Dungeons and Dragons game with all kinds of dice and things. But yes, my friends in high school used to hire a professional dungeon master. So now I'm really giving you my geek credentials. We would book the weekend. He would come with like multiple cases full of minifigs, and then at that time he would roll out the marker, basically like a giant marker board that all have little octagons on it. And so then as you're doing the adventure, he would be drawing out like where we're going and just very, very fun times. But
Man,
lots
see, I feel like I missed out on stuff like that.
I mean, I don't know. It all depends on who you are and what your point of view is, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are like, listen to these weirdos.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Exactly. So good times for sure. But I did go through a minifig phase as well, of like trying to learn how to paint them and all that good stuff. Never got very good, but
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
All right, new challenge. You have to draw 100.
Oh, thank you. Yes. In between everything else,
I'm still working on my hands. No,
yeah.
hands, you have no challenges.
Yes. Yeah. What are you talking about with working on your hands?
The drawing hands.
Oh, I know, but for the viewer at home, what are you talking about?
Well, I need to step up my game, and Mr. Eben here challenged me to draw 100 hands to I don't want to say perfect the skill or the craft, but it definitely I was maybe halfway, and I was getting pretty good at hands.
I know.
So I will say that is one heck of a challenge.
Yeah.
And I still am going to complete it, but for now, because of my time frame and my limited time, I am writing and I'm not drawing because I get distracted very easily.
You can swap back and forth. We'll complete this season of the Maker's Room sessions, and then go back to the drawing board.
Go back to the hands.
Literally. But yeah, so I mean, the explanation for that for anyone interested is, this was an assignment that I got in art school, and the rationale behind it is pretty interesting. So, when we're thinking about drawing, a lot of people have a question as they're beginning to draw or start to get really interested in kind of being a better draftsman, let's say, or draftswoman, that, you start to have a question about like, what is my style? And especially for someone like me that grows up like reading comics and emulating a lot of comic artists and, things like that. I think a lot of people start with trying to copy someone else's style that they like. And so, I certainly did that. And that's a very valuable thing to do because you learn, different techniques and trying to replicate what other people that you like do. And you take things that, the way they interpret things and apply it to your own thing. But the danger there is if that's the only thing that you do, then you never actually learn how to draw from life and you're only copying someone else's thing. And if they learned how to draw from life, essentially you're a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And that works for a very small number of artists. But generally, if you really want to develop the skill sets, like you need to kind of go back to the basics, and that means drawing from life. And so in my opinion, like there is actually no substitute from being in a drawing studio with a real person and having to interpret the thing that's in front of you to a flat surface on a piece of paper in a certain amount of time. And so like when you're in art school, like one of the foundational classes is, figure drawing with live models. The second best thing to that, and the reason that we get to hands, is that hands are probably the most complicated thing to draw and the most complicated thing to draw well, because you think about like every angle is a completely different thing. And this machine can be in so many different configurations, can be in so many different poses.
Well, and then you can put things in the hand.
You put things in it. So if you can start to understand the anatomy and the way that a hand works, like nothing else is going to be as challenging than that. So if you can draw a hand, you can draw a face. If you can draw a hand, you can draw, understand the musculature of the torso and how that can turn. And so like, of course they're different, but like the fundamental skill set of being able to draw this thing well at all different angles, at all different perspectives. And you just also happen to have it with you at all times, hopefully. So it's easy to, use, I'm right-handed. So, I have my left hand, which I can reference, and my right hand that I can draw with. And you can, quickly, bang out a bunch of.
Okay, so that was another problem of.
Hold on. Let me finish the explanation. So that's the assignment for anyone that, wants to. If you've never done this at whatever skill level you're at, I cannot recommend it highly enough. You will get better by doing this.
Absolutely.
So draw 100 hands, different angles, different configurations, different perspectives. You'll learn a ton doing it. And the byproduct of that is you'll start to figure out your own personal style. And the reason I say that is that because, in my opinion, your drawing style, much like your writing, the voice that we talk about when we're talking about writing, is your specific interpretation of the world. And if you really want your kind of unfiltered style, of course, you'll have inspirations and influences and things from other people that you like in the work that you respond to. But when you make yourself go back to the source, back to life drawing, back to drawing hands, back to drawing portraits of real people, like those sorts of things. If you want to draw a chair, looking at a real chair, not your memory of what a chair looks like. Like, if you force yourself to go back to the actual thing, what will happen over a relatively short period of time is you'll start to find that your way of drawing those things is actually unique to you, because it's the way that you translate reality onto the paper, onto the iPad, whatever medium you're drawing on. And so that becomes your style. And then you can start to refine it based on, well, I like this. I really, I like the way I did that. I want to explore that and do more of that. Like, the thing I'm obsessed with right now in my own work is all these overlapping textures, which you'll see in, everything that I do these days. So, so that's kind of become my style, because it's the thing that I'm just kind of interested in right now. So anyway, that's the assignment is, draw 100 hands without saying, this is not directed at you, Tiny. You should be able to do this in like a week.
Not 2 years.
Not 2 years. It should be more like a week.
I will say,
more like a week.
Each hand I did, I could have probably done 15 hands for each hand I did.
Yeah. So the part of it is to not obsess about each hand. It's actually to go through them relatively quickly. So, it's focusing on basic gesture, basic construction, basic anatomy, not going for like necessarily 100 realistic
all the shadow
hands or
I got really detailed into some of them. It's
exactly. So there could be some of those as well, but when you're doing 100, you're really trying to understand the fundamental construction of the thing, not necessarily all the light and shadow of the thing.
Good news is I still have everything saved. It's highly accessible, and I just recently found all my sketch pads and stuff from when I started with paper.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. So finish some stories, then go back to drawing hands. I want to see more hands. The people demand it.
I know. It's all right there. It's coming.
Exactly. See, Matt agrees with me. He says, true. This is true. 100 hands. Henry, thank you. Dim sum. Let 100 hands blossom. Indeed.
Who also, let me say, I don't know, Evan, if you've seen his most recent one.
I have.
What was it before? I think it was like a leopard, or a tiger, or something. But man, he's got me wanting to draw more stuff that I'm looking at, and less from my imagination or less from my memory. He is absolutely killing it, just drawing off of another picture, and I was actually just looking up behind this, like, man, I need to even just like drawing like the TV or the room around me or something, something that I never did enough of. Yeah,
absolutely. It's all there. It's all there for us at any time. And, I'll say this to anyone that doesn't consider themselves an artist. I fully believe that drawing is a skill that anyone can absolutely learn to do. It really is, in my opinion, more a skill than a talent. And then the talent piece of it is how you utilize that skill.
Yeah.
So, I think anyone can learn the fundamentals. And then the question is, what do you do with it?
I'm one of those people that literally, I had trouble drawing like decent stick figures. Like, I would not play a game of Pictionary because you're going to be like, what in the world are you doing? And now, it is definitely something that can be learned. I'm so mad at myself for spending, 3/4 of my life saying I'm just not good at drawing. And it's just something that I wasn't blessed with when I could have been drawing the whole time. It really is like learned movements and different things. It's really mind blowing and fun and relaxing. I'd encourage more people to do it for sure. I wish I had more free time.
It will come. It will all come.
No, it's coming.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't know this would turn into a lecture on art classes, but I'm excited that it does, because this is one of the things this is what I love about our community and the Discord, and just the things that have evolved over the past couple of years, where we can bounce between thinking about story structure and how to take one of these characters and make make that meaningful as a story arc or an extension inside of these different worlds and universes. And then you and Dim Sum and a couple other people who have come in from time to time and go like, hey, I've picked up drawing for the first time in a while. Like, that's super exciting to me. I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just part of what makes it a special experience. So I think, we're kind of wrap up there. I don't have anything else really to talk about other than I still have to review one more contract this evening. And I definitely want to encourage everyone, with where we started. We've got many more awesome drops planned on Drip House on the DMC channel. Definitely go check out the one that came out today. It's they've all been amazing. This is definitely a wonderful one. And we do have a limited edition legendary version in this drop, which is, it's my daughter's favorite. I'll say that of the collection. It's my daughter's favorite. She was like, I want that one, without even knowing that was the one. So
that's funny.
So you'll have this week while the snapshot is open to claim that if you want it. It's our 100,000 droplet reward. You're always interested in more people joining the DMC crew, which is at the high end of our perks. So 1 million droplets gets you in the DMC crew, and that gets you a custom PFP from the artist that's this week's collaboration. So that would be from Nico. So imagine your own one-of-one hip-hop cat character, animated. I would like to see some of those. So it's selfish on my part to say donate 1 million droplets to the channel, but I'd like to see some of those. This
it's in. Especially like these artists. I mean,
yeah,
these are super cool. Like I said, I posted, you said it. I posted one earlier in Discord. I got a few of them today, and I was immediately like, oh my God, look at this. So far though, I mean, I feel like I've been like that with all of them. I mean, I'm just.
Well, that's because you have good taste. What can I say?
Yeah, but I'm consistent.
Yeah, indeed.
No, the DMC drops have been phenomenal. I'm so impressed with all these artists that have come on board, and it's something that I haven't just like put in there and forgot about. I mean, I go back and look at these, and like I said, I was listening to what the one track earlier today. So I mean, I don't know, super cool, especially for just a few droplets.
Yep, just a few droplets, exactly. And I will say again, every droplet is meaningful. It all helps grow the channel, helps us support the people that we're collaborating with, and all that good stuff. And for those people that are able and want to kind of play at the higher end of the perks, like we are working with Daryl. He's got a crazy travel schedule this summer, but we're committed to getting at least one hangout a month with the DMC crew and some of the other collectors that are participating on the channel. So keep an eye out on socials for when that's going to happen, and what we'll need to make that happen. And our thinking right now, and actually if you have feedback on this, feel free to tweet at me or come in the Discord, but our thinking right now is like we really want to reward the biggest supporters and giving them some access to Daryl, and he wants to kind of get to know those people, but not at the not at the exclusion of the rest of the collector base. So what we're thinking about right now is kind of your ticket into kind of guaranteed monthly hangouts with them will be the DMC crew or the DMC record holders. But then what we're thinking is we'll do kind of a raffle among the rest of the collectors to join that monthly.
You could either do something like that, or if it's like an hour hangout, give the first 30 minutes exclusive rights to the.
Yeah. So that's a good idea too. Like we're figuring that out, but I kind of like the idea of like getting golden tickets for participating on the channel. So
I mean, I feel like if you want to include everybody, that gives everybody the opportunity. To be there, just maybe miss out on some of the better stuff.
Exactly.
And that way it also gives that exclusivity for the first half. But at the same time, I'm a firm believer in like the golden tickets and those pay to play. I mean, I don't know. I hate to say it, but
It's a good to balance it.
it's not even because it's not even that I'm upper in that level. I can't even play right there right now, but I can respect it, and I feel like if I could, then I would want something special.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like I really want the people that have been our biggest supporters to feel well taken care of and rewarded for that. And then at the same time, I like the idea of giving other people in the community the chance to kind of also get a deluxe experience as well, shall we say? And it's important to Daryl. Daryl is not a type of personality in any way, so I think we'll find a balance there. We might play with a couple different things for a few sessions, but
and it doesn't have to be a set. Doesn't have to be the same thing every month.
That is true as well. Yeah.
There's a lot of different opportunities there.
Yeah, absolutely true. So anyway, just some of the stuff we're working on and thinking about, there's more, but there's always going to be more. So we'll save hopefully some announcements I can start to talk about. If not next week, definitely by the end of this month, we'll be able to start to share some news. And in the meantime, definitely make sure you're subscribed on all the drip channels now. So for us, it's the Macroverse channel, the DMC channel, the Vogu channel, and then make sure you're on Jason Brubaker's channel as well. He has got some very cool stuff planned. We were just talking about today. So very, very cool. And then I'll shout out to all of our collaborators on the DMC channel, Monkey Moto, who did last week's drop. Quick side note while we're talking about art stuff as well. Like I did a tweet about this, but it's like he's got this very unique style, which is, kind of fashion and anime and this kind of very cool mix of influences, but all of his line work is white lines. And
that's crazy.
It struck me as I was looking at his work, all of a sudden, I was like, nobody does that. Like it's part of what makes his work so unique, and it's challenging.
So is that on black? What is that on a black background?
No, it's basically white on white. So his color palette tends to be very, very intentional and very constrained. So it's like off white against pure white against a slightly different shade of white, but it works incredibly well. He's certainly mastered it, and it's just a very unique look. It just struck me. It's like this is something that I don't know if anybody else does, but I'm sure there are probably a few people, but it's a very unique aesthetic, which is really cool. And then we talked about this week with Naniko. Just shout out to everybody. Crack, who did the Crack the Toy, who did the week before that. It's like really cool graffiti kind of style. Or sorry, actually it was Hachi before that. Crack the Toy before that. I'm gonna forget some people, but they've all been amazing. And just make sure you check out what people are doing on Drip across the whole platform. There's just so much cool stuff. So that's my plug for the night. Come into the Discord.
Download the app.
Download the app. Yeah, we got to keep reminding people everything on the app is free for a limited time. So make sure you.
I mean, everybody that I meet in person in real life, I'm like, hey, look at this. Look at this thing. It's free.
Yeah,
no, it's to me like anybody that's interested in comics should have this while it's free.
Over 1,000 episodes of content on the app right now, all free at the moment. We are planning a pretty massive and exciting. I'm tempted to call it like a relaunch because it's that impactful with I think what we're planning. But it's really an extension. But it's we're going to introduce some new dynamics and some new features and a way for a lot more people to participate in the platform in a bunch of ways.
Is that going to be through the mobile app or more on like the website?
It's actually part of what we're building, which has always been the plan, is we're integrating all of it. So it's going to be one platform that exists across mobile, tablet, web, all of it.
Gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah, I think we're going to have the first comics format that works on TV. That's just my prediction.
Oh, man.
It's going to be kind of cool. But yeah, one of the things we're doing is just unifying the back end and the experience and making sure that it kind of flows across.
What would be cool is to have the LED like panels with like that everyone was displaying NFTs on.
Yeah,
but just having one of the Macroverse like episodes just running.
That's a really interesting idea. Yeah,
would that not be like super sick?
Yeah,
I mean, like turn it from tall to wide. Man, that would be awesome.
You just gave me a really interesting idea, which is it's not exactly that, but is very much related to that, which I kind of love the idea. So I'm gonna talk to a couple of people. Love the idea. It's really interesting. I didn't think about that before. It's really interesting. Okay,
that would be really cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right, so same. We were a little late starting tonight. My apologies for that. Same. So our normal Macroverse time, normal Macroverse channel.
I like to say time-ish.
Time-ish. I mean, that's fair. We've had a couple sessions that started late, so this general time frame next week we'll be back with more to talk about. But Tiny, thank you for hosting. Come into the Discord, Macroverse or discord.gg/Macroverse. Download the app, iOS and Android. Find us on Drip House. Talk to us on social media. We're everywhere you want to find us, and we'll go from there. So everybody have a wonderful night. And
good night.
Ending